Oh boy. Here we go. Greetings and salutations. I hope everyone is having themselves a mighty fine day. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell of dawn so the ghost of the 13-month series doesn't get you and you can stay notified. First and foremost, I gotta do a little bit of preamble, a preface. Listen, I don't sugarcoat what I think and what I feel. My thoughts and opinions are my own. You do not have to agree with them. But if you're one of those people who are terrible at hearing opposing opinions, criticisms, critiques, or just general negativity about something you like and it causes a visceral reaction from you, it's time for you to go. This is not the video for you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything I feel or think, whether it's good, bad, or somewhere in the middle. And with that out the way, let's hop into this season 3 review of Tower of God. And the first thing I'm going to tell everybody off the bat is it's the worst season of Tower of God, and it's not close. Season 1 and 2 are far better. I'm not here to tell you if season 1 or 2 are better in terms of is season 1 better than season 2, is 2 better than 1. I would go 2 then 1 personally, and then 3. Though I do think the beginning of Tower of God is truly excellent and something special to behold. Please go watch my videos talking about the seasons. I do think that Tower of God ended up finishing stronger than it's strong. Like had a strong finish for the 3rd season. Like I do think some of the things with Drama Ray's death and setting up the whole Vam, like V being in Bam's body situation and not Garam, sorry. Aria, Adori Jihad coming through with the slice. Actually having a family had died, having Mazzino fail, having Luslek succeed. And I think it was really important. I think there's a lot of really good things that happened in the 3rd season. Like I think the 3rd season of Tower of God to me is defined by extremely hype moments, really dope highs, and various pockets and stretches of true brilliance that remind me of the first 2 seasons when SIU was truly in the kitchen, truly in his bag and cooking up fantastic meals day by day. But starting with the cage with Baylord Yama, Dang Dang, friggin' Godot and all that stuff. I'm sorry, it didn't move me. I thought it was weak. A very weak start. The idea that the people who wanted to free Doom with Kelhelm and whatnot's plan was to hope that Yama didn't wake up from his nap to stop him. Then Yama proving that he's much more competent and stronger than Doom through his training and whatnot, even though he can't create Houndborns, or you might know them as canine people. Just a lot of tomfoolery and foolishness there, as far as I'm concerned. Yas Ratcha ended up being, I think, a really good character. I do think that when his core was broken, after he used beastification against Traumaray and he was dying slowly, and then him and Yama had that weird buddy cop moment where they were just traveling, trying to find the book or whatever. That was ass. That was not it, but I do like him. I think he's a good character, and I think he played a really important role. And I actually really like how he ties into Baylord Yama's backstory and knowing his dad and him actually trying to look out for him and protect him in his own way, in his own right. I thought that was very profound. I will always say this. I think conceptually, what SIU had originally planned with maybe, I think it was Emort and Bayroad and Yama needing him to escape and coming back into the cage and things of that nature sounded much more interesting. But I do think the Baylord brothers story in conjunction with the Uncle Yas Ratcha and Wang Wang and how it tied to Kirin and Traumaray and then Nen, I actually genuinely think it was a really good backstory and flashback, so I'm not upset at it. We learned through that flashback that Yama has an ancient in him, and he's going to get the 3 fangs, and how Wang Wang was not someone that could be dominated, and we got a first kind of true look and insight into Traumaray's loneliness and the things that he goes through and his problem with trust, betrayal, and wanting to dominate things because he's afraid that things would leave him, which all came to fruition in his death when he died. His death when he died is a crazy way to say it, but he culminated in his death. So I actually do like that flashback. I think that's really good. I actually want to say the fight with Kelhelm with Yama when he was starting to go full canine mode or Houndborn transformation was pretty cool. And I actually like that Karaka was hit by an arrow to kind of show that out of all the current established slayers, he was the weakest. But I don't know, man. The cage stuff with the dogs just didn't hit for me. I thought Yama looked really good in it. I really like his like passive Shinsu ability. Like if you feel fear towards him, you can't hurt him type beat. Like all of that was really dope. I think that was really good. I really like that he trained to surpass Doom while Doom just kept trying to create Houndborns to work for them. And all things considered, I've always said this. Well, Doom is possibly dead. Him and Moron, aka Doan, got packed up in the war. We'll see. I always thought that based on what was kind of happening when all of the dots started to connect with the Baylord family, I'm like, okay, I think Doom will still pass away. I think Yama will become a true slayer, or in this case, the king of the beastkin. So not just Houndborns, but anybody who was experimented on with animal DNA in any capacity or sort, he will be the one to lead them all. He'll become their king. And Paul will be the new leader of, like, the cage. You get what I'm saying? And I think it's possible. I think that's still going to happen. But Dang, Louis, Godot, the stuff with Kanzon and Kanzong's daughter or whatever. Like, all of that, just don't care. It wasn't interesting. It didn't culminate or amount to anything important. And it was just hard to really care about that arc. I remember people being hype about Baragov, whatever his name is, the, like, mad dog. And I'm like, Blood Tamra. I'm like, this... We saw one get packed up already. Like, y'all are not looking at Bam for what he is. And then Bam just was not taking that nigga seriously. So I think it was a very weak start. I think there was moments, like, I actually like Jordan's, like, little lock-on one-hit ability. I actually like seeing Aguero getting the sweet fish and waking up 3 episodes in and not being behind the step from, like, rack and stuff was, like, a little crazy. But IU is here. I've made my peace with it over the last 4 years and some change. I do like when he powered up that one K9 person, I think maybe revived their arm and then took the power away. So they was like, wait, I was stronger. Now I'm weaker. And, like, he's done some really cool things. Like, even with him helping to get the souls and powering up with IU, like, Aguero did his thing, man. Like, I just need Aguero to do smart stuff, be cerebral, like him and Isu, and I'm generally happy. And I don't want him to play Bam's mother, but as long as Aguero is just kind of being generally intelligent, it's not gonna bother me. It was funny seeing him, like, not get blown back. Like, Bam's like, the power of the family adds, and Aguero just walks up like, yeah, what's up, bro? And I'm like, so you ain't feel none of that? You just gonna walk through it. All right, cool then. Crazy stuff, but Aguero doesn't bother me the way it bothers the community. I think he's fine. I think you guys are too hard on him. Like, let my man rock, man. He's a magic man now. He got them spells, baby. He got us straight into Dumas' armor. He moving different. I am personally eternally grateful for the chapter where Bam just straight up beats a ranker and they kind of talk about it, because it was just, like, annoying with him pussyfooting around that. Like, Bam's been high ranker level, kind of like top 60 for quite some time, especially when you think about all the various powers within him and how he has to consolidate all of them. But I did want to talk about, like, some of the things that I do really, really, really like about the 3rd season. And I gotta start with Loose Leg. Loose Leg's introduction was incredible, amazing, and he's a great character, and he has shot up the ranks to being somebody I invested a lot of stocks in at a very, very rapid rate. Seeing Mazzino in the arc was really good, and I like the fact that despite he was there and the strongest, he failed. He did not succeed at doing anything that he had to do, and his clash with Loose Leg and their little rivalry was incredible because Loose Leg actually kept them in check, and Mazzino failed all his side quests and all his main quests when he arrived to the war. I think that's important to note. Shout out to my boy Loose Leg. I just want to say this isn't more of a neutral thing. I think the V thing is interesting. It's interesting. Vam, the whole taking over Bam's body. I'm not sure how it works. Is it Naruto and Kurama? Is it Yuji and Sukuna? Does it work differently? Like, I'm not sure. The jury's out. I am cautiously optimistic, but I do think this does present a lot of very cool and dope storytelling possibilities, and I'm going to leave it at that. Traumare is a character that on a very personal level I would not get along with, and I personally just don't like him, but I acknowledge that he was a great antagonist. I think he was actually, for the most part, really well handled, and I like the role that he played in the third season of Tower of God and the trickle down effect he's going to have as the first family had to fall that will permeate throughout the rest of the Tower of God narrative. I actually think Traumare was handled well and executed pretty masterfully, all things considered. I really liked his power set, his mentality, the fact that he really was lonely and discarding his memories, and a lot of this stemmed from the love that he lost from Amizu and things of that nature, and then the ultimate clash he ended up having with Gustang, where he truly impressed me, and I actually think that he showed that he was probably a little stronger despite not really being prepared, and Gustang's supposed to be the cerebral one. And he kind of let me down in some ways. Like, I still like Gustang. I still like want to see what's going to happen with him if Adori didn't pack him with that one slice. Yay. But I want to see what Gustang is going to do, because he seems to want to run the gauntlet. He even told V, like, I'm going to pack you up next. I don't know how you're back, but I don't want you here. And he looks a little fraudulent with the bonk stick that he got from V and having to use, people said it was alimony, or he got his wife's flame from Blossom, but I still like Gustang. I still think his role in the story is going to be cool. So I'm here for it. Another thing that I really liked was some of the very small things, like people recognizing Hajin Sung as the massacre of the Ha family. Hajin Sung going back with, I think it was Holland and Owl, like Perdity, whatever, and him not recognizing, like, hey, they're moving from attack to defense. They're trying to lure us in. Like, did you notice? And Bam's like, yeah, and they did that so that Bam would be within the sensory range of Traumare, so that Cobalt, shout out to Cobalt, by the way, one of the goats for real. Cobalt will teleport him towards him, and then he can start to do what he wants to do and to get Bam into his whole family or whatever. Okay, Calivan versus Liboric. I'm not really sure. Like, I like Calivan. The electric storm thing was cool, and I like the idea that you could kind of mix the two, like, elements and like Shinsu qualities to make something different. But Calivan got healed by it, and I'm not sure if we're gonna see other instances of that. But it's just like we're talking about the Cat Tower part for right now. It was pretty mediocre. It was kind of mid, somewhere in the middle. Like, I didn't love it, didn't hate it. I really don't like Bam versus White. Like, you guys know that. And the reason why I'm not going to go into great detail about Bam versus White in this particular video is it was something week to week that we talked about ad nauseum and I complained about and brought up numerous times under many circumstances, and I even think I made a video calling it the worst fight. So if you go in the Tower of God playlist, you can find all of my thoughts and opinions on there, but I truly thought it was disruptive. I didn't think it was interesting. I didn't really like the conclusion. I didn't even like necessarily the aesthetics of the fight, and him trying to like use Prince's death and stuff like that didn't move me, because Bam doesn't really check on those niggas. You have to make me really feel like Bam cares about them the way I know he cares about like Rack and Dorsey and Aguero. He doesn't really come across as, anyways, I'm not gonna get into it. It was ass to me. White going out that way with Vincente coming back wasn't cool, but I do think that it was smart to try to give Aguero and Rack some power, a little bit of a power up through Bam, because I do think they were falling behind, even though Bam did get stronger. Then Bam got Leviathan. The Leviathan thing was really cool, actually, with the captain or the boss. That one hatchling that he ended up biting. Like, how are you keeping up with me? You're a random grunt. You couldn't even fly. And then Bam actually trapping Leviathan being connected to Traumare, though I don't think that truly amounted to much. I know Leviathan told Bam things, so Bam actually acted upon those when he was talking to Enkidu. Maybe that was from Gustang's book too, or to some degree. Still don't really know what he got and learned from that. It really was kind of vague, and one of the most annoying parts about the season. It's like Bam was just sitting in a bunch of information he absolutely refused to act on in any meaningful way or capacity, but it is what it is. What can you truly do about that? I don't really know. However, I thought Bam was absolutely the least interesting he's ever been, and had the least agency in the story in some ways, though he's been the most powerful throughout the third season. I also think his fight with Dumas is absolutely terrible. A poor setup, completely unnecessary to me in many aspects and many rights, but I actually do like Dumas. I think Dumas is a really good character, really dope character. I really like how he stepped to Traumare and got his arms melted by poison, dragon, vanquish, and everything. Like, Dumas is him, man. He's raw. The way he ring Bam's neck and everything, he did his thing. I think we'll see more of him in his Rosario carrier later. I also want to give a huge shout out to Lobodon from the Pobedal family, from the Lopabia family. He has, as Pantagana would say, he has the power of a tree, but doesn't act like a tree. He's dope with his one arm, man. I like that dude. The El Bozo moment with Elaine's dad was cool, but I really wanted a bit more out of it. I really wish Elaine got to play much more of a part in this arc, where maybe she could renounce her family, denounce it, or see the fall of the Lopabia and like reconcile with that in some way, shape, or form. But it is what it is. You can't get everything. But I think it was a missed opportunity, all things considered. Shout out to Zamzam, my mosquito. He was cool. Tiara, she was running the gauntlet early when SIU came back after his little break and stuff, and she was blowing up head. She pressed Yuri. She was so funny. Her penmanship was amazing. I actually found that some of the stuff that she came up with was more imaginative and cooler than things that Gustang did with his like fiction writing ability, scriptures to life ability. I really thought she cooked, man. She was awesome and amazing, and I really miss her already. Like I really like Tiara. I really wish she was still around. She was truly moving the masses, man. I do think that we learned about the new ability called doping with Mate's concrete hard ass booty. He made that shit hard like a rock. And, I mean, it's a new ability, something we didn't know about before, so I think that was cool to learn, and I thought his fight with Zamzam was pretty good, all things considered. Kidu serves his purpose in terms of, I guess, the part he needed to play to tell the story of certain things related to the family heads and Trauma Ray specifically, but we'll also throw Kustang in there. Well, actually, Amizu as well. Because of all the things that happened. But I actually don't think he's very interesting, very cool. He's very ugly, and I just don't like Enkidu at all. But the whole, like, who really did it? Is it Trauma Ray, or was it Enkidu who really killed the Mizu? Was it both? Yada yada. What's the case? Like, I thought that dynamic was really good. I actually think the flashback that we got with was it Leon Hannah? No, Lee Rang now. I'm getting to see Arieg and Han, getting to see Kunedwan, all that stuff was really good. It still felt very montagey and choppy, like he didn't want to give us all the tidbits and all the details, and I did end up with more questions than answers, but I genuinely did enjoy seeing the 10 great families to some capacity in the past and how they were moving and how the rift started between them and V and Arlene. Like, I think that was very good and very well done for the most part. A couple hiccups here and there. Again, I did end up having more questions than I had things resolved, but the jury's still out. We'll wait on that one and see how it all comes full circle, because I do think that it can be really good when it's all said and done, but I do want to know more about that. But the war, the great chess match was like pretty whatever to me. I honestly didn't find Gustang and Traumre's fight to be that compelling for our first two major clashes between the family head. I thought Loose Like and Mazzino went harder, and some other fights in the arc, or in the season at the very least, I thought was a little more intriguing to me. The one thing that I gotta say that I'm very disappointed with SIU, because this is the first time he's ever done this, is Rachel was a part of an arc and I felt like she didn't do much, amount to much, or she didn't do anything particularly intriguing, interesting, backhanded, sneaky, underhanded, even though backhanded and underhanded are synonyms, but like, what did Rachel really come to do? Like, Rachel did not cook. Like, even when Rachel is losing or on the back foot, she'll get some type of last laugh. And it's just like, this is the first time I'm like, what is Rachel really doing here if she's not going to react to Bam or V or anything in particular? She didn't even, like, obtain or get anything. Like, why was Rachel really even here? Like, this is the first time I felt that way. Even when Rack had one job to protect or to stop them from escaping and Yura got away, she held the fact that she knew things about Bam's lineage and family over his head as she escaped. Like, he fumbled Rachel. I'm sorry, I gotta say, he fumbled Rachel. And I have come to the point where I'm very neutral on Rachel. Like, I acknowledge Rachel as like someone that's like reprehensible, but I think she's very great for the story of Tower of God, and I don't think Tower of God would be the story it is without Rachel in it. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with that. I actually think Yura's more annoying. I don't like her. I don't know if what Yura did with that chalice thing she had from the hidden floor is really going to continue to affect Endorsey, but Endorsey is not okay. We got the Kun and Maria stuff possibly happening since Maria packed up a lot of them. We saw a lot of them like unconscious, Anak I think included in everything. So Maria stuff is going to come to fruition. We're finally going to maybe see more about Adori, Aria Zahard. We learned she's an Aria family member. A lot of us think that Hagafironi or Hagifoni, whatever her name is, and Adori ended up kind of fusing together to one character. I don't know if you guys agree with that. If you thought maybe Adori was always a part of the Aria family. We'll have to see what that plays out. I do think us getting a lot of mention of Blossom and N and things related to Gustang and his family means we're going to see the sealed number 7 princess very soon, which is very excited. So I want to see that happen. I'm really excited to see that play out. I thought Gustang's abilities could have been more inventive and creative, though he did a lot of cool stuff. For somebody who is supposed to be an anima, Pokemon master, monster tamer, creature collecting master, Traumaray's most dangerous technique was disconnect when he absorbed all of his creatures. But it was cool to see him turn his hand into a cannon and see him use an illusion and see him use his animals to the degree that he did in like that weird like Mara dick thing he summoned that was eating souls, and him diving into necromancy and him and Zahar doing stuff. Oh, the red light district, the red dump, that was kind of like a weird moment for me. I don't know what to do with it yet because they like came and they were putting in work, and then Mazina was like, oh nah, and they're like, oh yeah, we finna head out. And it's like, if y'all had like Bellarir as like someone you were trusting to get stuff done, it's hard for me to take you seriously because I think Bellarir actually is a complete and total failure and clown and really didn't accomplish a goddamn thing he set out to do. So I just kind of don't respect him in any major capacity. I'm not calling him a bad character or anything. That's well, actually no, he's a bad character. I think he sucks. I am calling him that. Bellarir is not good in my opinion. And ultimately, again, I think season 3 had really high highs, some really high lows, some really bad lows. My problem was we didn't seem like it was a roller coaster. It was like up and down and left and right and diagonal. It was like a dice roll. 14 14 1 1 6 0 20 20 20. Like it was so hard to like for SIU to stay consistently in like a good pocket. Like he wasn't in good form, then he was in bad form, then he was in great form, then he was in okay form, and that was like what sums up season 3 for me. A lot of ups and downs and lefts and rights and diagonals, if you will. But I ultimately think it ended off strong. When he comes back from that hiatus, post Calivan being on his knees and them like taking Bam away, and then starting the great chess match, starting with like the whole stuff with like I guess the fight for Bam's love hand in marriage with like Sea Serpent, Snake Master, the Mudflat Snake, which I'm very weird by the way. I really think once we hit that pocket, Tower of God season 3 was way more good than it was bad. Like at least above average to good than it was bad. And that's like the best that I could do with it. Like honestly, I really hope season 4 can turn things around and reform things because I still think season 2 is peak. I still think season 1 is absolutely phenomenal and incredible in any and all aspects, and I absolutely adore it. But I have a lot of issues with season 3, and a lot of you have heard me speak about these various issues and characters and concepts like power scaling and things like that throughout the past 4 years of covering it. So I know a lot of you are hearing me repeat things that you've heard me say a lot, but if you just go into my Tower God playlist, you go into my chapters, my playlist for like where I live react, you'll see and hear a lot of my opinions that I've had over the years. I still think Tower of God is capable of being, at best, if he does not slip like ever again, an 8 out of 10. But I think it's going to end up being a 7 to a 7.6, 7.8 out of 10 kind of series, like 7.5-ish, like in that realm. There's a lot to be done. But again, Looselek, Mazzino, a lot of the like lore that we got, the red light, the district stuff is really cool. I hope to see more of Wagnag in the spin-off and maybe in the 4th season. There was a lot of good fights and good moments. Calivan and White was good. Calivan actually just with his one hand and him showing out was really good. There's a lot of stuff in the cat tower that was pretty cool. I like White packing up that weird guy with the ability to catch hands, and that hybrider and soul thing. Sophia Tan was really good. And I know there's probably a lot of things I haven't touched on and a lot of characters and concepts. Oh, Mule Love. Mule Love was there. Mule Love was there. Mule Love freed the slaves. Evankel was over there fumbling the bag, not getting stuff done. And if it wasn't for my GOAT, the greatest of all time, the Blue Ore Master, he who surfs on top the waves, Mule Love, we wouldn't have freed any of them. But ultimately, I still think season 3 was the weakest part of Tower of God. I don't particularly think it's close. I think part of season 1 and 2. I think the weakest part of season 2 is probably the last station. I still think the last station is probably better than just about anything I experienced for the most part in the 3rd season. Maybe it's hyperbolic. There's a lot of good things with Ghost and Shinsu Blessing and the Shinsu Loop, and Bam actually facing more of his fears and being like, no, I started this war to save my master. I gotta see this to the end and everything. But I would give the 3rd season the lowest a 6.6, the highest probably like a 7.2. I'm in that range. I'm gonna just say season 6. I say season 6. I'm gonna give season 3 a 7 out of 10 for the time being. Again, I'm gonna actually do a follow-up stream where we just talk about the 3rd season in general with maybe a couple of people with me and the chat, so we can finalize some of ideas and maybe put season 3 to rest and look towards the future. But as much as I know there's a lot more things I should talk about and touch on, like Keating being a fraud and him getting away, and like maybe some of the other Lopabia people that were really cool, and some of the stuff in the cage, and maybe what's gonna happen with Paul, and maybe more Nenea talking about the plants and the machines and things like that. The sprout, like what's the sprout? Who caused the spell on it? What's really gonna happen with V? I've spoken about all this stuff so many times week to week. I just don't feel the need to overly rehash it because I do think we get pretty in depth. But we're gonna follow up with the stream and really talk about these things. So I hope you guys enjoyed the season 3 review. I know it's a little disorganized and I know it's rambly, it's all over the place, but hey, yeah, y'all on this channel and you know what it is. Like the video, subscribe, share it, tell all your friends I'm the Tower of God guy come through, and I hope you guys are looking forward for a lot of the cool content and streams I'm going to have as we wait for the spinoff and season 4 to return. So yeah, shout out to everybody for getting this far. If you got this far, I really appreciate you. If you got this far, tell me what some of your favorite moments of season 3 was, and maybe some of your least favorite moments, favorite characters, favorite fights, whatever the case is, coolest techniques you saw this arc, whatever. I'm here for all of it. Shout out to Cobalt, coolest frog of all time. Anaya Hemmings is going to be signing out. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with season 4, but I gotta admit that season 3 for the most part was a letdown to me. But there was a lot of good to be had. I hope White comes back. I hope we get more inner workings of FUG and the Jihad Empire and RED and stuff like that. And I hope REA Adori Jihad really shows out. And I want to see my regulars, man. Bring back Rand, bring back Anak, bring back Lore, Young Sleep. All of them. Need to see them. Karaka. I'm not even going to go into it. Y'all be safe. Goodbye. Happy New Year. It is January 2025. Shout out to the Patreon gang. Shout out to the CBLs. That is the certified BAM lovers. But could the next year, the Priests of Fire, be the real CBLs? That's brilliant gang till I die. And a huge, humongous shout out to the tier 3s, the 5th Sen Gods. Shout out to Johnny Rogers, Catan, Lucky Roo, Muzaka, Revenant, Scobe, Simi, Wolf General, Zyler Scotty, Big Abdel, Agrona Vitera, Childish Nujabis, Gray, and Huey. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.